Hi, I'm Ken from Puppy Warmer, and today we're going to show you how to hook up your oxygen concentrator to your 12x12 Puppy Warmer incubator. The first thing to do when you're setting up, if it's a situation where you're expecting puppies soon, is just plug in your incubator. That way it can reach temperature as you're getting the rest of the unit set up. There's a maximum water level line on the humidity vessel. Do not fill above that maximum line. On the back of the unit, there is a rectangular plug. If you remove that, this is where you fill with distilled water and only distilled water. In one of the other videos, I told you to set this aside. This is the oxygen line. And the oxygen line has a small green end on one side and about a 3/4 inch cup on the other. And what you do is you just plug the small green end where it says oxygen, and you put the cup down one of the two holes that are slightly larger than the cup in the bottom of the incubator. So you straighten the line out, and if your sensor is leaning one way, put the oxygen line in the other way, because you don't want to have the oxygen line pointing at the sensor, because then it's bringing room temperature oxygen into the unit, and it can confuse the system in terms of what the internal temperature is. So all you do is place the line down into the incubator, make it so it would be about an inch above their heads. Right along the back side here, there is a series of C channels, and you find with your finger and push into the C channel. Now the oxygen is at about the right height. If it's a little bit high, you can just feed a little bit more in and lower the line a little bit. In a previous video, we showed you the back side of the oxygen concentrator, which has a rocker switch on it. We'll turn that on right now. And as you remember, there's a red on button that appears once the rocker switch is on. And if you tap that, there are a series of pumps, diverters, and a molecular sieve that separate out the oxygen from the nitrogen in your air. So you can see in the oxygen concentrator, the oxygen is bubbling here, being fed through the line into where your puppy is. It's best to keep your room at 35 to 40% relative humidity. In some cases, if your room is dry, you may need an ultrasonic humidifier to help elevate the humidity to that level. And only use distilled water inside of the oxygen concentrator. Then the oxygen picks up the humidity and it passes into your incubator as humidified oxygen. You want to have the oxygen line far away from where the sensor is so that the sensor can accurately read the temperature inside of the incubator. If for some reason you turn the unit off here and then turn off the power, you'll hear an alarm. That's just telling you that you're separated from power. And it goes away when power is connected back. So I'd also like to point out a couple features of the controller for the Puppy Warmer incubator. So you see the OUT light that's lit. What that signifies is output. What that means to you is electricity is being put to the heater at that moment. Normally you see the OUT light lit when the red down arrow is on. What that's telling you is you're below set temperature at that moment. The Puppy Warmer controller is a proportional controller, and what that means is when it's far away from set point, the power to the heater is on, 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 on. As it gets closer to set point, it's on, off, on, off. When it's at set point, it will proportion the electricity to the controller so it's off, 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 on, off, 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 on to maintain temperature. If you see a red up arrow, that means it's above set point temperature. If you see a green rectangle, you're at set point temperature. Tricks with the incubators, you want to keep the doors closed as much as you can. Otherwise, the system is reading the room temperature more than it's reading the incubator temperature, and the heater will be on more than it should be. And when you close the doors, you'll move from an open system to a closed system, and it will elevate the temperature inside the unit. Similarly, you want to keep the oxygen line away from the sensor line so that you can accurately sense the right temperature of the room. In this case, the humidity gauge is reading 46%. Generally, the humidity is about 8 percentage points higher down where the puppies are. So this would be 54% if you add the 8%, which puts you pretty close to the middle of the ideal range of 40 to 60%. This is the incoming air filter for the oxygen concentrator. What it does is it filters out particulates in your air, protecting the equipment and also protecting your puppies. If it looks even slightly discolored, normally that would be a light brown or a light gray, then you should replace the filter. Your unit comes with 5 additional replacement filters. All you do is just pull it off, and then you can press it right back into place when you have the new filter. There's also a place for a fuse. We have never had a customer to this point in time have to replace a fuse, but if you have a power surge, that goes before the equipment goes, and that's located right there.